Hello and welcome to the Keys to On-Campus Living. Owl Nation, this one is all for you. My name is Chris Bruno.
And I'm Caleb Lee.
And today we're here to talk to you all about roommate selection, which is step 2 of the housing application. We're super excited today to share a lot of information with you about this process. And so please don't feel like you have to take notes when this video is posted. There'll be timestamps so you can go to specific sections if you miss something or we talk too fast. You can go back and look at that anytime with the timestamps on the video. On your screen right now, you should be seeing a slide that shows you where we are in the housing application. Roommate selection is the start of step 2. So our application is a 3-step process. We are starting step 2, which is an optional step. You do not have to do this. So if you're watching this video and you don't care who your roommate is, you care more so where you're going to be living, you can turn this video off. But if you are interested in locking in with a roommate through the housing portal process, this video is all for you. So important things. March 23rd, 2026 is when roommate selection begins. We issue time tickets, which we will talk about a little bit later, but on March 23rd, that is when the process officially begins. Check the housing portal on Monday, March 16th. That is exactly a week before the process begins. In the housing portal, you'll be able to see what your time ticket is. Now, you'll actually be able to log in and say, oh, my name is Chris. My time ticket begins Monday, March 23rd at 10:30 a.m. That's when the process begins. The process never really closes until the entire thing is done. So the time ticket is really when it's first available to you. Again, I mentioned that this step is optional. You don't have to do this. And so if you don't really care who you're living with and you'd rather go potluck, which is what I did when I went to college, you can ignore this step, turn this video off, get back to your Xbox or whatever else you're doing. When we do get into roommate selection, an important note, and we get calls and questions about this every year, for first-year students, which is the only group that this process applies to, when roommate selection opens, you are going to be able to see students who are on the same campus as you. So in our December video, we talked about the Marietta first-year live-on requirement. Marietta students will only see Marietta students. Kennesaw students will only see Kennesaw students. So let's say there's someone that you're friends with in high school right now, and you want that person to be your roommate. We'll use Caleb and I as an example. I'm Chris. I am a mechanical engineering major. This is Caleb. He's a psychology major. Those are 2 different campuses. Caleb's home campus would be the Kennesaw campus. I would have the Marietta campus. In the housing portal, we would never be able to see each other. We do that on purpose so that students don't get connected. When we get to room selection, Caleb wouldn't be able to live with me on the Marietta campus and vice versa. So just know that if there's someone that you can't find in the housing portal, it could be that you're on different campuses, or rather your major is dedicated to a specific campus. If you're an honor student, that's one of our special living learning villages that we support, honor students will only be able to see other honor students in the roommate selection portal. Most importantly, take your time. If you are interested in searching for a roommate, the system that we'll describe today is very sophisticated. It's very much like going on a dating website and looking at different profiles. Take your time with this because Caleb and I both lived on campus when we went to college, and I think, Caleb, would you say who you live with is fairly important?
Very important, yeah.
Yeah, so roommates can make or break your college experience, so you want to make sure that you choose a good one. And before we get into the meat of this video, I want to say this. For those of you who have like your best friend in high school, maybe you have 3 or 4 people that are like your besties in high school, you may want to explore other roommate options because what we see is students who are really tight coming out of high school. When you live together, you may realize that you're not as compatible as you might think. And so really take your time when you're going through this process because it is a great thing that we offer and a great thing for you. Another important note for roommate selection, that $200 application initiation fee, it was not due during step 1, but it is due if you want to participate in roommate selection or room selection. So if you haven't paid that yet, when you start your time ticket and it opens up, you're going to be prompted to pay that $200 before you begin roommate selection. We have a helpful step-by-step guide on our website that should be on your screen right now showing you how to access that. We have screenshots along with this video. It should be a very easy process for you, but we're going to get into it.
Yeah, so time tickets, as Chris said, will be issued on Monday, March 16th in the housing portal. There should be a slide that you'll see on your screen. Roommate selection will open on Monday, March 23rd, but you'll know by March 16th. And that's if you've done step one. If you've not done step one yet, you will need to go back and do step one before you can do step two. So why do we have time tickets? I remember the old days when everybody would get on the exact same time and it would crash the servers. We'd have a ton of phone calls. The office would be chaotic. We've tried to make a better experience for everybody, yourself and ourself, but mostly yourself. So it's kind of like an on-ramp on the highway. Only a certain number of people can get on. It's high traffic time. It allows everyone to have a better experience in the system without crashing the server. Time tickets are based on when you completed step one. Again, you've had to complete step one in order to do step two. And you'll only see those who have also completed step one when you get into the system. And there should be a screen recording on your screen now that'll show you how to find this in the housing portal.
All right, let's get into it. Caleb just told you all about the time ticket process and how that process works. I'm going to dive into the roommate searching process. Now, before we get started, this is definitely a section that you're going to want to timestamp. I mentioned those earlier. This may be a section you want to come back to. There's also going to be a very helpful step-by-step guide on our website as well. So we're trying to give you as much information as possible. Before we do that, though, question for you students out there: have you set up your KSU student email address yet? If not, definitely pause this video, go do that right now. It just takes a couple minutes because from here on out, everything that you get communication-wise from our department will come to your KSU student email address. There's also some emails in our roommate selection process that you might get, so you definitely want to make sure that one, it's set up, and two, that you're checking it every single day, especially while roommate selection is ongoing. So most important thing, when your time ticket opens up, you are going to be able to access a portion of our application that you can't see right now. Everything has been built, it's been tested, it lives in our system, but you can't see it yet until your time ticket opens. So when that day and time comes, that's when the exciting part happens. I mentioned roommate selection is a little bit like dating, and when you're able to access that, that'll make more sense. We use what we call roommate pairs. And so again, I'm going to use Caleb and I as an example a lot for this. So let's say I'm coming out of high school. I know Caleb is my guy. I want to live with him. We've already communicated. He is going to be in my roommate pair. We use the word pair because students are only allowed to have one preferred roommate because, again, due to our housing demand, we can't guarantee that we will have space for you and your roommate. Definitely can't guarantee that we'll have space for you and 2 or 3 or 4 other people in our housing areas. When you access our roommate selection process, you have the ability to create a roommate pair. Now, you have the power here. This is all in your hands to do this process. A roommate pair, you will set up the name of your roommate pair. You will set a password for that roommate pair. But I have a note here. Do not set up a roommate pair until you are ready and you know who you want to live with. This is the nuanced part about roommate selection that our students struggle with. The minute that I create a roommate pair, I am in that pair. That also means I am not in the available pool of potential roommates any longer because our system says, oh, Chris has found a roommate. He is in a pair. Do not show him to anyone else. So we get phone calls and emails. A lot of students, when roommate selection opens up, they get excited. They say, create pair. Here's my password. Here's the name of the pair. And then they wonder why no one ever reaches out about, hey, do you want to be my roommate? It's because once you create a pair, you are no longer in the available pool of people for roommate selection. That's a really nuanced thing that our students have problems with year over year. So just know that. Do not create a roommate pair until you know who you want to live with, because otherwise you're going to be missing out. You may have the best roommate of all time never see you because you created a roommate pair the day that it opened. When you are ready to search for a roommate, we have 3 very different options for you. You can search for students by their first name and their last name. You can search by a roommate pair name. If, again, let's say Caleb had an earlier time ticket and he said, all right, Chris, it's all good. I'm going to create our roommate pair. And he goes and he does that. He will give me the roommate pair name and the password. And then all I have to do is go search for that roommate pair name. The other one is you can search for recommended roommates. So our system is very, very smart. And step 1 of the housing application, you filled out a little bio about yourself. You answered some questions. You probably already forgotten it because it was back in December. You filled out what time you go to bed, how hot or cold you like your apartment, do you like music when you study. Now is the time when all that matters. So when roommate selection opens, if you don't know anybody, you can click a button that says show recommended roommates. And it's going to give your potential roommates a percentage score. And it will literally say, here are the top 5 people that you match with based on how you answered those questions. So then from there, it's almost like shopping. You can go click on people's individual names. You'll be able to see every answer to every question that they put during step 1. You can look at their social media if they chose to share that. You can find their cell phone number if they chose to share that. And we provide different avenues so that students can really find the best match for them. Again, if you're coming out of high school, you don't know who you want to live with. We want you to be successful in college. So again, I cannot say it enough, take your time because we have thousands of students for you to search through as potential roommates. So let's say you land on someone. You found someone that you feel like you're going to vibe with, you've texted with, maybe you DM'd on Instagram. Now you have to do something. You have to send them a roommate request. This is where your email comes in. So again, Caleb and I as an example. I search for Caleb. I see he likes country music and running and going to the gym. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to be good. So I send Caleb, imagine it's like a DM on Instagram. I send him a request. I want you to be my roommate. Now the power is in Caleb's hand. He can either accept that request and then our roommate pair is formed automatically. I don't have to create one manually. If he accepts my request, that pair is formed automatically. He can decline that request, or he can wait 7 days and that request will automatically expire. So again, that's where your email comes in. If you yourself get a roommate request, you have 7 days to respond to it, or if you send one to someone, they have 7 days, or you got to start back over again. That's our roommate process in a nutshell. You should see a slide here on your screen showing that room expiration date with the 7 days and how all of that works. We also have a screen recording that's going to be on your screen here at the end. That's really going to show you everything that I just talked about, but in a visual format. It'll show you once the person accepts your invitation, the roommate pair is created, and y'all are on your way. Couple important things. We get phone calls, so just trying to give y'all all the information you need. Let's say Caleb denies my request. We, the housing office, cannot give you any information about who denied your request or who accepted it. We can't share any other contact information unless the student opted to share that in step 1. And then the last thing, parents, if you're watching, I don't mean anything rude, but for the students out there, if your parent or guardian helped you during step 1, and by helped, I mean did it for you, if they answered those My Profile questions, it's really important that you go answer those honestly as yourself, as a student, because again, you know yourself better than your parent or guardian. You might be more honest, and we want roommate pairs to be as positive as we can.
So yeah, it's a really important process. Before the end of roommate selection, you're going to want to make sure that you choose a roommate pair leader. This is going to be a really important person. And so you don't want to necessarily choose off of who's more interested in getting rooms or anything like that. What you want to do is look at who had the earliest time ticket. And that's going to be the person you want to make sure is your roommate pair leader. Because a little bit down the line when we get to room selection, that person is going to be really important. So you can change who the room leader is throughout the process all the way until the end of room selection. And there's going to be a screen recording that on your screen to show you how to do that. But do not leave the group or don't delete the group if you want to make changes. You don't want to have to go through that process all over again. When you do connect with future roommates, like Chris said, you can message them within the portal, so you guys can send messages to each other back and forth. You can also reach out to them on social media. If they put their social media handles in the step 1 process, reach out to them, talk with them, but just know, like Chris said, if you call us, we cannot give you their Instagram, we can't give you their TikTok, we're not going to give you anything else. There's a really fun federal law called FERPA that keeps us from doing that. And so we can't give any information out to them. So just reach out to them. Also, if when you did step 1, you didn't put that information in, you can go back and edit step 1 like Chris was talking about. Make sure that you have all that information in there so that way people can reach out to you and ask you to be their roommate.
Yeah, it's a super exciting time. Our application opened December 1, and so we're waiting until mid-March to start opening up roommate selection. There's a reason for that. We want you to see the most potential roommates as possible. So again, the time is coming soon for you to pick your roommate for college. We're super excited for you. That's it for our video. So please take your time with roommate selection. You'll see us again in April for room selection, which is the 3rd and final step of our application process. Please make sure you're following us on all the socials. We're KSU Housing on all the things. And then please contact Talon 1 for any questions or support as you go through this process. They're extremely helpful. 470-578-8663. Probably on your screen too right now, but please make sure you call Talon 1 with any questions. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.